Autism, THC, and the cannabinoids. I'm Lex Pelger. I do Canna education for CV Sciences, and you can see this entire research file at CVResearch.info. I actually just finished updating it. Also, there's a new account, so you can help us out with a follow. Let me begin with two important points. The very first one is, this will not be any silver bullet for autism. There are non-responders, just like for epilepsy. For some of those kids with epilepsy, CBD just doesn't do much. And it's the same thing for cannabinoids and autism. That being said, small amounts of CBD made a huge difference in my cousin's life, and it's one of the reasons I got into this field. So if you go online onto the forums, you'll see a lot of parents talking about this, and that's where the real wisdom is. I have some advice on my personal site, whitewhalecreations.com, and a how-to guide. I have a whole bunch of science about this, but really, it's the other parents who are going to be the smartest people, and there are groups out there that talk about this. There's also some good articles in the popular press. I remember one from Medium called Why I Give My 9-Year-Old Pot, that is very well written, and there was a recent Atlantic article called How Backyard Pot Farming is Helping Kids with Autism. On the science side, I'll go over the highlights of a couple of the latest review papers, and I'll end with the big point here about how this may be helping kids. So in autism, you also didn't have a dysregulation of your lipids. And lipids are a very fine-tuned signaling system. They were considered a backwater of neurochemistry for a long time, but it turns out that what they are is a very delicate control system that is very nuanced. Some of the other neurotransmitters are more on-off, but you could think of the endocannabinoid system as an octopus sitting in the center of your brain with little dials all over the place that it turns very gently. That metaphor is courtesy of Martin Lee of Project CBD, by the way. That control of lipids might be and the inflammation that goes with it might be a big reason that it helps with the neuroinflammation that can be happening in autism. Also, microbiome effects. Everybody knows about there being a potential link between the gut-brain axis and the microbiome. It seems like a lot of the help that the cannabinoids do is actually via the gut. And the other thing to know is, for this, you would start with CBD at low levels, and you can eventually go to higher levels, and then you would introduce THC later. But, kids and THC, you want to take it, both of these, you want to take it very low and go very slow, but especially with THC, and work with your doctors, of course. This is just general guidelines. And the last thing to say is, it seems like cannabinoids can also help with not only the central things, but also just the stuff around it, like the hyperactivity and the anxiety and the sleep. And the last thing is, we know that cannabinoids help to grow new brain cells and new brain connections. And for a lot of these diseases, that might be what's helping.